Hey everybody, if you're watching this, you don't see that live button in the top corner, you're watching the replay. So give us a hashtag replay letting us know you are watching. Get my stuff up. Alexa, volume down. Alright, we've got a couple of cups we're going to be working on today. Getting my shares in. If anybody, make sure to share. Once we get to 50 viewers, we'll do a 25% off coupon to a lucky winner. And then at 100 viewers, we will do a free cup giveaway. Super late today. It was apparently like one problem after another. Hey Laura. I don't know, Sarah, maybe, but we might break down. I still haven't fixed my truck, so we'll see. So a few weeks ago, I got the Silhouette 3. I bought one from somebody. And I had the original Silhouette since pretty much it came out. And I feel like I'm back to that spot where I'm trying to learn how to use the machine. I don't know how I feel about the auto blade yet. I kind of, my opinion at this point is I don't like it at all. But some of the vinyl that I have, I know my bulk vinyl I buy, it's a little bit thinner than like Oracal vinyl, so if I follow the Silhouette settings, it just shreds the vinyl because it's pressing too hard. So that's part of the reason I was late. I was planning on going live at 11 and then had some printer trouble printing some pictures, and then had some issues with cutting on the Silhouette. And I don't think it's the blade's fault. I just have to figure out how to use it. But that's probably exactly why they sold it, because they couldn't quite make it work the way they wanted it, I guess. They said they used it about 4 or 5 times and it just couldn't. And I saw they gave me their mat with it, and the mat is all chopped up. So I want to get what I've got it right now. I've got the auto blade in, but I have it set to a 1, and then I've got the software set to a ratchet blade. And that's something else that's new. The old one, there was 2 buttons to load. There was one to load a mat and one to load media, because I cut a lot without using a mat, at least on my original Silhouette. The way it's looking is I don't think I'm going to be able to do that with this one. This one's a Silhouette 3, I believe. So that's kind of depressing. So I guess what I'm ended up doing is making a shelf for both of my Silhouette machines, and probably still keeping my original one so I can cut my long stuff. But this one is, I don't know yet. That's awesome, Miss Kathy, and do apologize that it took so long. I know, I guess with the weather and the way everything's been going, the post office got like super far behind. I know we had some issues at one point with our local post office. And then I think our local sorting center in New Orleans is disastrous at times. Get this one mixed up. So yeah, so it's been an eventful morning. And like the original Silhouette, the settings in the software kind of didn't really matter, but they super matter with this one, because this one actually uses the settings you set in the software. My old one, you did everything manually, which I have to say I kind of like better. Gives you a little bit more control on how things go. But just like anything else, it's a learning process. So I guess over this weekend I'm gonna have to sit down and play with this machine and make some cuts, because I try to cut earlier that I've done before on my original one, and I cut it 4 times and it's still not cut. So either it cuts too deep or it doesn't cut deep enough. I think it's a user error though. User problem. So if anybody is interested in having a cut made, make sure to head over to facebook.com/SNA Pearls Creations. Click that Shop Now button. Fill out our form. Once we get your form, we'll send you an invoice. You pay your invoice, we'll start working on your cup. Our cups take 2 to 4 weeks to make. We're kind of catching up. This actually, today and tomorrow, I should be finishing up all the cup orders that I have currently. So if you do get your order in today and say pay your invoice before Sunday, we should be able to start working on your cup on Monday. So if you want a cup made, now is the time to let us know what you want. We do have like St. Patrick's Day coming up. I'm actually working on 2 cups today for that holiday. All right. And this one we're going to let turn tonight, and then in the morning I'm going to check it to make sure if it needs any adjustments. If it needs more epoxy, or if it needs to be sanded and adjusted a little, we can. If not, we'll kind of set it to the side. It will go through its 72 hours of cure time, and then we'll be shipping this one out early next week. Now I'm just going to kind of work my way around, make sure it's smooth, make sure we got all the air bubbles out of it. Yep, Sarah, we got to figure it out. I don't think it'll take long. It's just I may do a little reading and maybe watch some videos this weekend on this auto blade for the Silhouette. I mean, I assume it's pretty self-explanatory. You go on the software, you set how deep you want it to cut, and it has some pre-configured settings, but some of my vinyl I can't cut on those pre-configured settings. I learned that with the last machine. Okay, let's see. But one thing I've been wanting to try and play with around is their scan and cut, which you're supposed to be able to print out a picture, then put it back in there and it'll cut it out for you. A lot of the designs that we've done, I hand cut out. And I mean, I guess I'm a little old school. That's the way I've done it for years, you know, making designs and hand making them. But it would be nice to be able to load it in to that machine and have that machine cut it all out for me. That would make my life so much easier. Go ahead and pull this one off, because this should be the last coat of epoxy we have on this cup. Yeah, Laura, that's kind of what I was hoping for with this one. It's kind of like with the original one, the original silhouette, I had to kind of cut a little test piece and then kind of see how it weeded, if it actually weeded or if it didn't weed at all, or if it cut too far, then I had to kind of adjust the settings or adjust the blade. But I was actually cutting majority of my vinyl with the blade on a 0, and it was cutting perfect. There's a spot on it. Yeah, there's one little spot where the epoxy kind of is. I'm gonna run it one more time since it kind of dripped a little bit. And we'll let this one turn for about another 30 seconds or so, then we'll get it moved on out of the way. But it wasn't bad. I mean, hey Deborah. The girl I bought it from, actually, it was $200, so it was cheaper than buying it new. And I mean, it's brand new. There, you could tell it hasn't been used very much. She gave me the box with T-shirts, vinyl, I guess everything she bought to use with it, and just was like, "Here, have it." Because she just, I guess, got frustrated, kind of about how I was earlier. But I mean, I've had I've had machine before, so I know it takes a little tweaking and a little learning. And that's really with any new tool. With any new tool that you get, that's kind of what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move my paper towel holder. Put it in between the right legs, that way it's out of the way, but I think it's too far out of the way. You know, it's one I've heard a lot of good things about the Cricut. I just didn't like their software. Now, I mean, I've only used it once or twice. I'm sure there's a learning curve in there, but I had a family member had it, and I went to help them out with it, and it just almost seemed like I like the Silhouette software. The Silhouette software seemed like you could do more with, but the Cricut machine was like super simple. Awesome. Let's see, my peppers. But I was gonna go live and finish, while I was cutting everything, and it just was like one disaster after another. And I was like, we can't have this, because I was getting ready to pick it up and put it on the other table and bring my old one back over here just so I could get the vinyl cut. Figured everybody didn't want to sit there and watch me going, nope, that's not it. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. That's usually when I'm doing that kind of stuff, I'll have some music, some chill music going on to keep me from wanting to take it outside and burn it. Alright, this one just needs epoxy. We're going to put a little bit thicker coat of epoxy on this one, because we're going to put a decal on it on the top. We're going to put a water slide on the top, and then on the back side we're going to put a name. This is actually a remake of a cup that got dropped and we fixed. There was a crack at the top that I was able to actually clean up and fix, and then while I was waiting for someone to come pick it up, it got knocked over and fell on the floor and cracked. It fell off the top of my fish tank. I'm not sure how it happened, but it fell over and went smush on the ground. Then it hit concrete. So we're remaking the cup for her. usually we'd be able to fix. And I think that we may have fixed it, but I think with that much of a fall, I don't think it would have made it. Like as far as still holding its vacuum. And I'd rather not send it out and take the chance that it would not be a good cup. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to cutting with this one. One thing I may want to do, I might reach out to Silhouette or to Brother and see if there's, is there a way I can really cut with just vinyl? Because whenever I cut like our S&A Pearls logo, and we used to do just vinyl on the cups before I was doing this, I would cut an 8 or 10 foot long piece of logos, and that's why I like that other machine. I could do 10 feet straight of vinyl, so I could print 6-7 feet of logos and then cut them out and weed them all. But like this one, I've only been able to really successfully cut with the matte. I ran my roll through and it was just the vinyl was smushing up and moving around. Oh, nice, Laura. That's what I think my next big buy on the tank is going to be an under gravel filter. And then I think I'm actually going to get rid of my big tank I have. I'm still going to have a big tank, but I think I'm going to get rid of my 75-gallon rectangle tank and get like a hexagon tank. One that's maybe not as wide, but tall. That way it doesn't take up as much space. Or maybe even move down to like a 50-gallon tank. And then do more plants and maybe less fish. Or do a saltwater tank. Been wanting to do that. But from my understanding with saltwater, it's like you need to do big. But the bigger it is, the easier they are to work with, because the fluctuations in chemicals aren't as bad. At least from what I've read and been told. Alright, get this one mixed up. And this one I'm pretty much going to do the top and the bottom kind of separate, just to make sure the glitter doesn't really mix. I'm probably going to have to mix a little more epoxy. Let's see if we can get this one worked around. Kind of just going for a thin coat, and then we'll come back probably later this afternoon and put another coat on it. And that should be smooth enough for tomorrow. We can put the decals on it and then put its last coat kind of between tomorrow and Sunday, and then shoot to get this one out on probably Wednesday or so of next week. See, my next 2 cups will be glitter, so we'll probably do it. I don't think I'll mix enough to go ahead and knock out my next 2 cups too, or at least my next cup. All right. I have to find my algae eater. I bought one. Bought a Plecostomus, and I don't know where he's at. She's got some Mickey Mouse fish. They're Pilates, right? They're small little fish, and their spots on them, they look like little mouse heads. I believe, aren't they? I think that's what they are. Because we had some Dalmatian ones that looked kind of like Dalmatians, but they were white with black spots all over them. I only have maybe 6 or 7 fish in my tank now with a 75-gallon tank. I actually need to get rid of, I have a big goldfish. He almost looks like a koi though, because he's like 4 inches long. What I think I'm gonna do is, I've been thinking about putting a pond up, like a small fish pond, like a koi pond with some plants around it, and then maybe putting him in it with some other koi fish. That way he's out and away from my little fish. Yeah. So I've got this cup here. We've got 2 wine cups that we're going to put glitter on, and then we've got 2 We the People cups that we're doing. And I'll see where we're at. I've got a few more cups that I'm working on, that if I can get time to do them. I know it was kind of late. I've got to run to town and pick up a few things. And we've got the Pearl Show tonight, so I want to try to get all that done before we run out of time for the day. Okay, let's see. Sarah, are you still watching? Come back through and we'll put a little bit more. Yep, Deborah, talking about the little fishies. All right, get me a new. New towel. I think I'm gonna take some of this and we'll run a little bit more around the top. So I want to try to get the top smooth enough to where we can put the decal on it without putting another coat, if possible. And that should be enough for the next one. I wanted to do some glow fish, but never really did. Partly because I didn't have the tank lighting to make it look cool, and then if I had another tank like we were before, when I had a couple fish tanks in the house, that's what I was going to do. I was going to take one and kind of make it a glow-in-the-dark fish tank. Whoop. Here, I can actually. I forget we can zoom. Bad part is I was the one that bought the camera. Okay, we'll let this one turn a minute and I'll get it moved out of the way. All right. Toward the middle. Oh. Alright. A little bit more heat on it. I want to make sure we're trying to get as smooth as possible. What we'll probably end up doing with this one is put another coat on it later this afternoon or maybe tonight. Maybe after the Pearl Show we'll throw another coat on it. That way it'll be smooth as we can. Tomorrow we'll get the decals put on and get the last coat of epoxy put on it and get it ready to go out the door. If anybody wants to have a cup made, head over to facebook.com/SNA Pearls Creations. Click that Shop Now button. Fill out our form. Once we get your form, we'll send you an invoice. You pay your invoice, we'll start working on your cup. Alright, let's see. We should be able to make this a little bit work. Maybe. The epoxy is starting to kind of tighten up a little. This cup is pretty small. Let's see. Just want to make sure we've got it all coated all the way around. Yeah, that'd be the way to go. Sadly I lost a lot of my angelfish whenever we moved. They were, I guess they're very temperamental and sensitive to, I guess they got kind of stressed. So they did not make it. So we need to get a few more of those. But it's always tough moving fish. Okay, let's see what we got. Let me... make sure we don't have any epoxy on there. This is the glitter we're using on this cup here. It's kind of like a blue. It's a green. It's a dark green, like an emerald green, but kind of like a green blue color shift. We're just going to work our way over the cup. And this is one of our glitters that just smells terrible. I don't know what it is. It's like this is a glitter that just, it stinks. I don't know what other way to put it. Can't really describe the smell, but it smells terrible. But it looks really cool. And you can kind of see toward the bottom down here on the camera, and like the top, it's green in the front, and then it kind of looks like it's blue on the sides. Looks really cool. This one will actually be available for purchase. It is a 10-ounce wine glass. It does not have a lid. A couple of our wine cups do not have lids. I think we have a few left that do, but the ones that I'm doing today do not have lids, but they will be, I think these will be 30 when I'm done with them. That's kind of what it looks like, Laura. But it's like a green and blue, purple. It's got a bunch of colors in it. But this one will be available for purchase. I'm actually, if nobody claims it today, I'm going to put a decal on it, and then we'll post pictures of it. Put it up on the Facebook page for purchase once we get completely finished with it. I'm just going to mix a little bit more. A little bit more epoxy to put on this one. We've got a few. Our crushed velvet glitter that I really do like, but it's really tough to get. I need to just take some down to our glitter supplier in New Orleans and see if they could match me something. Or just figure out where a lot of these people are buying their glitter and just buy it directly from the manufacturer and mix my own. Just don't have the room for it. Maybe when I get my shop up. Just work our way around, get some epoxy on here, and then we'll glitter it all up. This one. This one's kind of going to be like the last one. We're just going to glitter it. Yeah, that one I just used, it just has this like funky smell. And there's a couple, it seems like are like super pretty glitters. It's like, I'm not exactly sure where they make them out of, but they smell funky. But they look really cool. It's the only reason they get to hang out and stay around. Okay, let this one turn for a second. And this one that we're doing is going to be just a straight up green. Kind of in celebration of St. Patrick's Day coming up. Debating on whether I wanted to go all the way up the cup or not. I might have to do one like that with just the bottom glittered. Especially with this color, it looked really good. So this one's probably going to take multiple passes because it is a little bit finer glitter, so it tends to soak into the epoxy. And this one has a little bit more epoxy on it than the last cup that I did too. But when we get to kind of these really fine cut glitters, they do soak into the epoxy fairly quickly. Yep, you don't smell them once they're covered up. Well, that's something I looked at, Laura. Yeah, you do have to buy a good bit of, but that's what I was thinking of buying, a couple different colors, and then kind of making a few mixes of my own out of them. Maybe trying to figure out what some of these other places don't have, and maybe mix something new that maybe some people don't have, maybe. But that's very true. I mean, it's when you're buying 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds of glitter, I do need to find a place where I can buy a decent cut white glitter, because I do use a lot of white glitter, more than I think the rest of the colors that we have. That's what I do with my black and my white vinyl. Those are the two most widely used colors of vinyl that I have, and I actually will take those and buy those usually 50 or 100 yards at a time, so we do get a decent amount of those colors, just because that's mainly what we use, especially when I was doing a lot of commercial signs and people's front doors, their hours and stuff. It's usually done in black or white. We'll just make one last pass over here. Just want to make sure we've got a good coating all the way around, and I'll probably let it turn for maybe about 30 or 40 seconds, and then maybe make one last pass. Go back across it one more time, kind of in this middle. Looks like it's looking pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to let these turn. I've got some others that I'm waiting to finish drying outside that we're going to try to finish up this weekend also. So if you want to have a cup made, make sure to head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/SNA Pearls Creations. Right there on the front page, click that Shop Now button, fill out our form. Once we get your form, we'll send you an invoice. Once you pay your invoice, we'll start working on your cup. Our cups take 2 to 4 weeks to make. We try not to do anything that's licensed or copyrighted, but anything outside of that, we can pretty much do. If you have any questions, shoot us a message to our page. I think that's going to be it for me today. We'll let this one go. We'll put epoxy on this one, and the ones we've done today, we'll put one more coat on all of them. We'll put the decals on these two, and then that one. Then they'll be ready to go. Should be after this weekend, maybe middle of next week. They should be shipping out We'll have the Pearl Show tonight, facebook.com/SNA Pearls. If I don't see you guys tonight at 8 p.m., I will see you guys on Monday.